Hello, Reject Nation. It is like almost 100 degrees outside, and this is the room with the least amount of AC airflow. But because it's this movie, I'm gonna wear this beanie. It's for the video. It's for you. Guys, this is Daredevil Director's Cut. Gonna do a movie reaction to the Ben Affleck-led film. John has never seen this film. I saw the theatrical version 19 years ago. Needless to say, I think I only really remember a moment. One or two moments like, yeah, I kind of remember that. It's gonna be pretty much a brand new movie for me. And it's also a half hour longer than the theatrical cut, and I've heard it's so much better. Guys, so full length watch along, resync it with the time code for Daredevil will be over at our Patreon page. Cover a whole bunch of stuff over there as well. Your support means a lot. Thank you, Superajects. Leave a like if you enjoy this one. And thanks to the boys at Prepper for helping us edit this down. Gonna be doing more movie reactions, so keep a lookout. Let's do this.
They say your whole life flashes before your eyes when you die. And it's true. Even for a blind man.
Come on, Shrimp, hit me. I'll give you a free shot. Yeah.
Is that Anthony Soprano?
I told you I didn't want you fighting.
I tried to walk away, like you said, but they kept giving me shit.
Don't curse. You think I'd be pulling double overtime down at the docks if I was working for Fallon? What are you, nuts? You don't hit nothing but books, get me? You'll be a doctor or a lawyer. Not like me.
Foreshadowing.
You can do anything if you're not afraid. Now, you promise me.
That's gotta be the theme of this movie.
I promise, Dad.
Want me to tie a rope around the moon?
Matt lassos the moon.
Looking for my dad, Jack Murdoch. Seen him around?
Murdoch? He ain't worked here in months. Now beat it, huh?
Love that his hair's a little red.
I know.
Oh, you got good grades.
You're gonna need that report card, though.
What?
We're close to the docks, Matt. Whoa.
Wow, 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 wow. Wow, so his senses were like instantaneously enhanced.
That's what happens when you go blind. Whoa.
Jesus will save you, young Matthew.
I talked to the doctor and...
I'm blind. I know. I heard you talking in his office. I hear everything.
I'm an adult now, Dad.
I mean, doesn't make you automatically good at that, you know?
No, in this case, it does.
An acute sense of touch.
Whoa, nice hot headshot.
Hey.
Grunkle Stan.
What's up, freak?
Show up in the exact same way. Same alibi.
Go ahead, fight me. I dare you.
Yeah, Murdoch.
I dare you.
Reaction
Taking it.
shot fight.
I don't work for you no more, Fallon.
Jack, you never stopped.
Better call Saul. Bring him in. Something that feels borderline Dick Tracy-ish about this.
That's a good call.
His flashbacks.
Come on, Ed, get up! You can do it! Fine! Come on, Dad, get up! Let's go!
Is that Kane Hodder?
You all right? Murdoch, you all right? Okay, let's fight.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
This one was for you, Maddie.
This is currently feeling like a well-made, crowd-funded Daredevil film.
Absolutely. That's a good call. Ooh. And
Parents died in an alleyway. Ouch.
I would seek justice, one way or another.
I'm enjoying the symmetry of a lot of the shots. The production design does feel very much like a graphic novel.
oh yeah.
Bow chicka bow wow.
Those sexy ass knees.
Pump yourself up.
Drown the world out in rock.
Anything that happened after that was entirely consensual.
Are you aware that perjury is a crime, Mr. Casada?
My client is a respectable member of the community. It not only makes her testimony
Nor is her
suspect,
testimony
but character
suspect.
as well.
Gentlemen, that's enough. Miss Sutton. Miss Sutton enjoyed every minute of it.
Oh god. That's disturbing.
This scene is aged into greater relevance.
Wow, so you get drunk. Not tonight. We got work to do.
Yeah, you do. Get to work, boy.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Post Schumacher world. Yes.
I love it. Yes!
Ah, we were both horny.
Yeah, he's for real.
What do you want?
Justice.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh, that was great. Oh, that was really cool.
Solid action, dude. Yeah, skateboard. Never lose those skills.
I do like the gothic flair, man. Trains are his weakness.
Who made you judge?
You did.
Oh no.
Go to hell. Diablo.
Okay. But you'll beat me there.
Whoa.
That light at the end of the tunnel? Guess what? That's not heaven. I'm killing you! I'm killing you! That's the C train! I'm killing you!
Could have said something a little more badass, you know?
Nah, I'm gonna use that now.
Jose Quesada.
Oh my god.
Oh, nice.
He straight up killed him.
Yeah, dude. Got a train right over the nuts.
There is no proof that your so-called Daredevil was involved, nor that he even exists.
I love that he set that up.
It must be hard too, because it's wet all over here.
Tell you, there's no comic book movie like this today.
Look at that. Oh, yeah. Brooding shower shot.
You know, we need some better clients. I'm tired of these pro bono cases.
What is your problem with our clients? We have good, honorable clients, decent people. What's your idea of better? To define better. Huh? What would be a better client?
In law school, how to create a moral vacuum so you could represent people who aren't all necessarily innocent.
What's your best course, as I recall?
Yeah, well, you don't have a moral. I mean, I hate to bring it up again, but I spent $3,000 on seeing eye dog.
I didn't ask you for the dog. I didn't want a dog.
Say something else.
Ex-wife?
Oh, she.
The other Jennifer?
She's hideous. I don't know if it's fungus or some sort of congenital birth defect, but as your attorney in this matter, I advise you.
I was just looking for some honey. Could you help me out?
Right in front of you.
Could you be a little bit more specific?
What are you...
Blind? Yeah.
I am so sorry.
That's okay.
I tell you, some people have no compassion for the handicapped.
Apparently not.
Where you going?
Get that fucking compassion.
Gonna start acting pitiful right now.
I don't like being followed, so don't.
Wait a second. Take it easy.
I don't like being touched.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me what you do like, and we'll start there. Okay.
This is not the time and place.
It's a fight date.
You should question his blind ability now.
Sure you're blind?
Sure you don't want to tell me your name?
What the hell?
I love this movie. This is the best movie.
Oh, yes.
You're holding back.
Yes.
Don't.
Yeah.
Stop hitting me.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
My name's Elektra Nachios.
We call him the Master.
That's all I wanted to know.
Terrible way to cover up your abilities, man.
How am I gonna find you?
You won't. I'll find you.
Oh, yeah.
Dad, I'm looking for an insanely talented blind man living in Hell's Kitchen.
I think I can narrow that down.
Out of their bodyguards their first day on the job. You think that's horrible, don't you? Because you don't like the physical stuff. I do.
Oh, yeah. It's good eye acting on that guy.
I want you to buy me out. I think you'll find it's a very generous offer.
How's your daughter?
Great cigar acting in that scene.
Dante Jackson, ex-con from Queens, charged with the August 9th murder of Lisa Tazio, your friendly neighborhood prostitute.
Spider-Man reference.
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson,
Coolio.
Holy shit.
we're your attorneys.
Oh, here it goes.
So, are you innocent?
Hell yeah.
I believe you. You do?
You do?
Get yourself a defense.
No, Foggy's racist.
As he is.
Press want a kingpin, so I'll give him a kingpin. Get me Bullseye.
Bullseye. Ouch. Oh my god, how many paper clips did he have?
How deep did they all go?
Why does he have a paper clip? The fuck?
The Matrix is a system, Neo. And it was never a bad time to be cool.
Gross. Bullseye!
That's how badass he is. Even dogs know him.
Ah, I see.
Come on, Matt. There's nothing over there. Let's go.
It's a Mac.
M.
M-O-M. 6.
8. 8. There, I knew it. Her mother did it. Now, can we please go?
Get me a computer for Christmas last year, but I didn't use it. I'm afraid this one would blow.
You can still hear her over those headphones?
I said.
What? Just straight up murdered her.
She's just dead now.
Can I get you anything before we land?
More peanuts? Please.
They got a whole other movie.
Look at this. It's so beautiful.
I know. This was my favorite view of the city when I was a kid. I really wanted you to see this.
So corny.
Describe it to me.
When we were kicking each other's ass in the park. I knew you were the one.
First time it falls on a surface. Just then, it's like I can see again. And I just wanna see you.
Damn, I'd totally bang this guy.
Yeah, this is charming.
Jeez.
Jesus, dude.
Oh, wow. Well, it's pretty accurate. They're instantly soaked.
I have to go.
Matt.
No, please.
Damn, he hasn't been Daredevil for like 30 minutes.
I know.
Please don't hurt me.
I'm not the bad guy, kid. I'm not the bad guy.
Conflict.
Why would you even consider that? You're beating up obviously very horrible people.
It's your whole thing.
You call. Sorry. Cool color. Wouldn't know. We can't represent you.
Why is that?
Yes, why is that, Mr. Murdoch?
Because we only handle clients who are innocent.
Ouch.
You know, I've learned one thing in all my years in this business.
What's that?
Nobody's innocent.
Especially the blind.
It's like that. You want me to take you up there, Matt? Matt? Matt?
Hitting people out of the way with this key. Everyone. I could sense how hot she is tonight.
The only reason I got dressed up for this thing was that I wanted to look beautiful for you.
I bang her too. I bang both of them.
Same time, let's do this. Eiffel Tower.
Go back to the party.
Tihinete, what's wrong?
Nemazitu. Stavros will take you home.
Say parakalo. You wait.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
How could you just leave?
Yeah, how fucking rude. I have never.
I would never.
I'm the blind one.
Yeah. Here we go.
What is the plan? Hit me! Oh, there you go.
This part of New York looks like downtown LA.
Drop something.
Ooh.
No way.
Come on, man. Oh.
With his own weapon.
No! Damn!
Bullseye.
That's my name, see?
I love how I had to point out Bullseye.
I know.
How did you get past my security?
Bullseye.
You made that good.
Oh, God.
You know, you've exceeded all my expectations.
You're hired.
Have you ever owned a handgun, Mr. Jackson?
No, sir.
Do you have any intention of owning a handgun, Mr. Jackson?
No, sir.
Thank you.
Can't hit nothing with a handgun. But a shotgun? Now that's a whole different story. Shotguns got buckshot. It's like little
Thank
pellets.
you, that's all.
And when you shoot it, they kind of spray out like that, so it could just hit everything in front of it.
Thank you, Mr. Jackson.
For your sake, I hope your partner comes back soon.
You are a terrible lawyer, son.
Suppressed by all my childish fears.
We killed her daddy. Watch you upset.
That's just how things go. Who left the red rose there?
Who killed Lisa Tazio?
Dante Jackson.
Ooh.
I want to know why your copy of Harvard hasn't changed.
It's the key to beating Daredevil. Just get a pacemaker.
Oh, that? That's Matt's big contribution to the Tazio case, which has surprisingly turned out to be completely useless.
Flip it upside down.
What's the date of the murder?
August 9th. Why?
Maybe you're looking at it wrong.
Flip it upside down.
Oh, what? Brilliant.
Ready, Lucy, Linda.
Ooh. They did say Matt Murdock had a martial arts battle in the park.
Yeah. Several children spotted him.
This is not a good time.
It's about Lisa Tazio.
I remember this song on the trailers.
Oh. Did the director of this movie do music videos?
There's so many needle drops in this movie. Wake me up inside! Wake up! Save me! Me from the She's really good at this shit. Holy crap.
Yeah, it's convincing.
Will in size is no easy business. I still look hot.
Wait till Matt sees me next.
It was a hitman named Bullseye. I didn't kill your father.
Liar.
Liar.
Gotta have your cool action voice.
The flight ability on these people is insane.
Yeah, their legs must be jacked.
Oh, you could have at least dodged that.
That's him. That's Paul. Listen to me. You have to run.
He has to pay for what he's done.
Keep it up. Keep that place up.
Hey, Orphan. Let's play.
Take a drink every time he spreads his arms out that way.
Oh shit, it went through her hand, huh?
Yeah. Nice.
Oh, God. Why'd you try to catch it?
'Cause I'm Bullseye.
Why'd you try to catch it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Could've just dodged it.
Oh my
Dang.
goodness, that is probably super painful.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
High velocity paper cut.
No.
Oh, eeg.
Whoa! Wow.
Dang.
That is brutal. Something more brutal about it just not piercing the shirt.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of this. Nope. I'm literally like, nope. No recollection of this. Oh, she was only Elektra for like 5 minutes.
Don't worry. There'll be a whole movie.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. How the... What? How'd you get there?
Movie magic.
I don't ask for mercy. People ask me.
Oh, is that a fact?
Ooh. Don't you dare touch the priest. Yeah.
How did you not catch that? Venom.
I was just gonna say that. Goofy physics there.
What is Colin Farrell? I don't know what Colin Farrell's doing, but I'm weirdly enjoying it. What the hell?
That's awesome.
Fisk is the Kingpin.
Yeah. The whole Red Rose thing? He loves that shite. It's not my style.
Oh my god, he's been doing the Red Rose thing for decades.
No, it all makes sense.
Ouch!
Ooh, a lot of hand puncturing in this movie.
That was awesome. The way they did that was awesome.
Yeah. Stigmata.
Took away my hands.
No.
Show mercy.
Jesus.
So both his Daredevil and Batman just straight up murder.
Yep. It's in his contract. Touch your forehead one last
Bullseye.
time.
I would say this is a better Schumacher movie.
Yeah. Let that rage out. What? Ooh, like a reverse Bane.
Good stunt performers in this one.
I'll find you.
Been in my business for too long.
Smart. Holy crap, that is so painful. Why not kill him?
I'm not the bad guy.
He just threw Bullseye out the window.
Strapping that one guy to the train tracks and throwing Bullseye to his death really taught me something.
You wouldn't touch me with a 20,000-foot pole, man. I feel you. All right, man. Oh, all right.
This scene was added back in.
You're not fucking Jennifer Garner.
You're just a stand-in for Jennifer Garner.
I know the truth about Daredevil. Justice is blind.
Ha.
If you run that story, I'm finished.
But I'm a reporter, kid. It's what I do.
Throw your stick at him!
Kill him!
because evil always survives.
Bullseye.
With the help.
Like a weird bulldog or something. Somebody plays that character.
Ha 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 ha.
Grail.
Yes.
Just in case he had to remind himself.
Soon the world will know the truth. That this is a city born of heroes.
Control Z. Control Z print.
I knew, yeah. Good thing Daredevil doesn't take on litterers.
A guardian devil.
A dark knight.
Woo!
Ow! Killing it. Wow.
Can't wait for the sequel.
It's gonna be so good. Can't wait to get everyone back.
Dude, Ellen Pompeo was in this.
Dang. Dude, David Keith and Keith David should be in a movie together. David Keith, the actor who played Matt Murdock's father.
Yes, yes.
And Keith David, veteran actor and great voice.
Yeah. They could play brothers.
They could.
Biological brothers.
In a new remake of Twins.
Well, John, while I don't know if there's a post-credit scene. While we wait for the new post-credit scenes then.
Somebody had to.
I believe Iron Man was the one that really kicked it off.
That Iron Man's definitely the one that made it like you expect it,
yeah.
and if you don't get one, it's weird.
I don't remember if they were already doing it back then. Maybe it looks like it. No, it was just a lot of black. It was a lot of black for no reason. What the hell was that about?
I don't know.
There's such a big gap in the credits there.
The article exposing Matt Murdock was supposed to go there, but then they deleted it.
What did you think about Daredevil?
Oh boy, it was a special experience. You know, this is a fascinating movie experience because it's intermittently, you know, way better than I've heard the theatrical cut of Daredevil is. I can also kind of imagine what might have gotten cut out and what the theatrical experience might have looked and been like, because of some of the... It felt like it was sort of like dipping in and out of something that was pleasurably cheesy in a way, and, you know, it had that sort of early 2000s comic book attitude where it's like, we gotta make it cool and punchy all the time. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely of its time, but I had a good time. And what leaves the impression on me right at this moment is that, you know, for an almost 20-year-old movie at the time of recording this, you know, there's a fair amount more that holds up than I expected.
True.
Especially in the construction of the effects and some of the fights. There's definitely some really silly stuff, but not bad, not bad.
I think from what I've heard over the years is what got cut out of the movie was a lot of lawyer stuff.
Okay.
A lot of actual lawyering. So, and I don't remember like 99% of this movie. The only thing I kind of remembered was when Elektra was training with the size, but I don't remember thinking like, oh shit, she's actually really good with that stuff.
That was a cool scene, yeah, and she really it's weird. Out of everybody,
where were those sandbags dropping from?
I have no idea. she must. They're stupid rich, so she must have a system of pulleys and stopwatches and who knows what else. Or maybe there's an Alfred-style butler off screen.
Are they specifically designed to stab and break? Or are they designed to kick and punch? Because I'm like, how many sandbags are you going through when
Yeah.
you're practicing with these signs?
You gotta get a whole new set every single time. This cannot be the most practical way to do that.
Slicing them open, I'm like, but they're just still, you know? Like, get something else that doesn't just break open. Yeah, I think it might have been all the Coolio stuff that was cut.
I can imagine. I mean, I enjoyed his presence here, and weirdly,
But I feel like it's not needed. I'm like,
No.
wait, how exactly does this even play into the main plot?
yeah, I mean, like it's tangential because of the way that like the girl who was murdered, the prostitute who he's being framed for the murder of, is actually the guy who Wow killed. Or is actually the woman Wow killed, but at the same time, I'm like, I feel like there are other parts of the plot that would have gotten us there eventually, or at least he interrogates the cop in the car. We'd at least have gotten to Wilson Fisk. So yeah, I wonder if maybe some of the figuring out of, you know, who's to blame on Matt Murdock's side, you know, maybe that played differently in the theatrical cut, or was plotted slightly differently. Because yeah, I feel like aside from that one bit of connective tissue, you can just remove that and nothing really happens. Although, I did appreciate that this had kind of a... For the time it was made, the portrayal of, like, crime and how it affects, like, people who are down on their luck and how those people get exploited at the whims of, you know, the people who run things. Like, that stuff actually checked better than I expected for a movie like this. So,
no. Sounds like you really liked it a lot.
I loved this movie.
They haven't laid down one criticism so far.
Oh, there's tons of cheese, and I mean, I would say that the first maybe half hour, 40 minutes or so, it was like, this is really cool and fun, and like, you know, the combination of the effects with like the film stock, because it's still shot on film and everything, I believe, you know, like
That's definitely shot on film.
Yeah, and so like,
which brings a nostalgia effect. Everything's so digital now.
yeah, and then there's something about that makes it feel a bit more tangible anyway. So for the first hour, I was like, I can see what people mean that this is like significantly, like nothing feels that silly for the most part. And then, you know, it started to... It's weird. It's like I appreciate what they included and that they have all the lawyering and all that stuff.
No post-credit scene.
Continued. But as I was saying, you know, sort of towards the middle of the movie, it does start to sort of sag under the weight of all of the stuff that it's doing, and I feel like the Kingpin and Bullseye are in a slightly different movie from everybody else, which I have a sneaking suspicion probably would have played better in the theatrical cut, but at the expense of everything else playing worse in the theatrical cut. So, like, this is a...
It's probably true. That's a good way to think about it, yeah.
And so
I get what you're saying, yeah, because, like, they get more real with the crime investigation and the...
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's going into the victim's house and they're doing actual trials, and this is all surprisingly grounded shit.
Yeah.
And then you got, like, not quite, but almost Schumacher-y villains there. Like, there's, like, some parts that were, like, I'm getting some Two-Faced Riddler flashbacks here. It's not that quite as big, but it feels like it would fit more in that universe for the kind of extended version this is.
I think your both your name checks are right. I feel like this is what would happen if you splice the Tim Burton Batman aesthetic with the Schumacher Batman aesthetic, because like there is that sort of, even though New York isn't quite at
It's got a lot of Crow in there too.
Yeah. It's got that gothic sort of thing going on, and it's got a certain height about it, which sometimes helps the cheese and sometimes really doesn't help the cheese. I mean, there's so much stuff in this movie that feels like a teenager going, look how cool this is.
It feels like a crowd-made Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
Like, this is really well made. These guys could be great filmmakers.
Yeah, give them a real budget and some real resources and see what they can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Because, yeah, there's a lot of shots that feel very much like we're looking at a comic book panel. I actually really thought a lot of the cinematography, other than the wildly apparent, we gotta really shadow this up because we're using a lot of CGI.
Yeah.
Other than the very apparent moments for there. And, you know, to be fair, this is 2000 they must have made this in 2002. This got released in 2003. So there's been a much bigger evolution in visual effects since then. Not to say that's always great, but I think that with what they're doing here, with the amount of zipping around is the superheroism, that sometimes the rules of the anatomy, I was like, I'll move past it. I'm still questioning it though. Like, you guys get hurt like regular humans, but you leap like superheroes.
Yeah, you want the craziest. You can leap literally tall buildings in a single bound. So how heightened are we going right now? And why is it only that your leaps are that jacked, whereas like, you know, that if your muscles are that way under this reality, it would stand to reason that like any punch would just knock someone's head off, you know?
And for some reason, the style of it read as cheesy versus when you're watching like a Hong Kong film, like a Crouching Tiger, for example, where you're like, no, that's the fighting style, but they can still get hurt like humans. For some reason, it doesn't. This registers like goofier for some. I don't know why.
I think it's just the combination of all that stuff with then the leather and the rock music, and it's just so much piled on.
Yeah.
And you do have...
Well, I think those Hong Kong movies strike a more fantastical tone, and where this strikes like we're a dark, gritty, like fucking punk. And,
yeah.
And then, but we do leaps and bounds, and we get hurt like regular humans.
And we do a lot of, like, it's not quite as expressionist and stylized as like a Chinese opera, like a wuxia kind of movie, but they do a lot of still those wire effects that are a little more heightened of like when people are... It makes the most sense when Wilson Fisk is throwing people around because it's supposed to be like, oh wow, he's just got so much brute strength.
Yeah.
He can toss a guy, you know, further across the room than you would ever imagine, and in those moments the physics play a little better, but there is kind of a certain element of that wire work that adds a certain fantastical, like the physics of this movie are a little all over the place, I would argue.
What's funny to me is that in a lot of ways was weird watching in the context of like watching Ben Affleck do this role that made me go, it's like what he did with like when he did Batman, it was a redo of how he could have done Daredevil better. You know, because the way he plays Matt Murdock is a bad boy. He plays him like a bad boy. You know, because I wasn't even really comparing him to Charlie Cox. I wasn't even like thinking about that. If anything, I just found myself thinking of like Ben Affleck's Batman. Because I think if I did compare to Charlie Cox brings more of a boyish sweetness to the role, whereas Matt Murdock in Ben Affleck's is very short-fused and aggressive, and then like, oh, I'm into this chick. Yeah, let's play it rough and dirty, you know.
Chase after her despite her protest.
Then, oh my God, this cop's pissing me off. I'm gonna jack his car. I'm gonna like thrash it. Yeah. You know, like as opposed to like Charlie Cox, which plays the duality of who he is as like that torn, tortured, the way how he has that line in here of like, I'm not the bad guy. I feel like with Charlie Cox, you really get that sense of struggle. Where when that came in here, I'm like, I didn't really get the sense you were struggling with.
No, it's just the switch flips of, I'm not going to let a train cut a guy in half next time. I know. I'm the good guy.
Let a guy die.
Yeah, and it was those early flourishes.
Bro, you killed that guy. You broke his, what did he break? There was his ribcage or something? I forgot what he broke there in that moment.
Oh yeah, that's who.
I totally forget. He broke
through his sternum.
Yeah, and then he fell in the train tracks.
Yeah.
Murdered a guy at the very top.
Oh boy.
And Bullseye, if he didn't live at the end, he sort of. How did Bullseye live? I don't know,
the power of evil.
Yeah, so some of the rules are just like I find myself occasionally questioning the rules, which is strange for me to do in a comic book movie because I normally don't when it comes to anything but the physics. I don't ever really like go, wait a minute, what? But this movie had me doing that from time to time.
Yeah.
But I didn't dislike it. I actually thought it was totally... It's above more reviews for me.
That's the new scale.
I mean, the way people hype the director's cut, I imagine it must be the feeling that people who are not into Snyder's vision of Justice League must feel. Like, for me, I really think that Zack Snyder's Justice League movie is a fantastic film. I really believe that. But I know there's people who just can't and don't enjoy it, who watch. So they'll watch Joss Whedon's cut and go, "That's terrible," and then they watch Zack Snyder's cut and they go, "I still don't like it, but it's better." And even though I don't remember the theatrical cut, I have a feeling that's more what my response to this would be. Is like, it's fine. And like, it's not I don't think it's a terrible film by any means. Like, there's some questionable stuff, and does it kind of drag and get a little bit dull? Yeah, weirdly, it's with the Bullseye part when he comes in, where I feel like that's when the movie should be the most elevated and exciting. For some reason, it just felt like we were now getting Amazing Spider-Man 2 syndrome shit, where you're just like, you're over introducing too much. Like, it's like Elektra's dad then died. There's so many plots happening here, even in your director's cut, which is the extended version. Yeah. Even in the extended version, which, if I'm not mistaken, they did cut out a whole other plot, which was the Coolio thing. So they have, you know, like when Elektra's dad dies, and then it's Elektra's revenge story. That's like 10 minutes of the movie, you know? Yeah. And it's too much. There's not enough to breathe. So I didn't feel much when I was watching this. Like, I felt like kind of empty on my experience, other than being amused by certain elements here or there, or appreciating I think the most consistent thing I appreciated was the production design and cinematography, and a lot of that. I like that, like, really grimy, ugly film thing from the 90s and shit. I really like that. And I think some of the fighting was cool, and I think Ben Affleck does a fine job here. I do find myself going, it really did feel like his Batman was a better version of what he was doing as Daredevil for me. Absolutely. Partly, I think the thing I'm finally starting to put my finger on is just, I rarely don't see Ben Affleck when he's in anything. I'm usually like, Ben Affleck, you know, and here I was like, it's Ben Affleck. I like what he's doing. I think he's charming, and you know, his bad boy take on the role I am enjoying, but I don't really see past the fact that it's, you know, one of Hollywood's biggest stars, Ben Affleck. He doesn't do a bad job in it. No, not at all. Not at all. I think he does a pretty good job. And I mean, he and Jennifer Garner have such chemistry. Yeah. It's crazy. Like, I really was endeared. And I like the romance between them. Yeah, and that could have felt requisite or cheesy, and it's moments like that, like things like that I wasn't expecting. Like that moment on the rooftop where we were at first laughing about it being kind of cheesy. Like when it starts to rain and you see the vision he described, like, it's like, I can see you for the first time. Like, that actually touched me, and I was like, that's kind of beautiful, actually. Like, that's a nuance I hadn't expected from this movie, and I feel like part of what starts to drag and undercut characters like... Funny enough, I came in expecting everyone had always told me that Bullseye and Kingpin are the best parts, and I watched this, and the thing that kind of hampers those two for me is that, you know, they're so one note. Well, yeah, there's just nothing to those characters except the immediate moment of them being maniacal, and so they give you stuff to kind of latch onto, or they characterize everybody else, and they don't characterize them beyond what the actors are doing right now. So especially when Bullseye keeps showing up, it's like you're literally just cutting to a different rock music video for a couple seconds while he does some cool thing, says like a badass quip, and then touches his head. And it's like, you know, you're pumping in like a Matrix music video and then cutting back to a real movie. Yeah. You know, periodically. And so yeah, there is like a weird disjointed quality that they bring that, if you're not like 100% with it, does kind of drag or does kind of leave you looking at the periphery and thinking about the construction or things that you shouldn't be thinking about when you should be just pulled into, you know, what's going on. Yeah, it's a silly film. I don't know. I'm so conflicted about it because I think I like the first 40 minutes more than anything else. Absolutely, I agree. I think the first 40 minutes are striking the right balance of you're taking yourself really serious, but then you're you know, like you're so fun. You're so cheesy that I love it. I just love that some of the dialogue is so bad sometimes that it just cracks me up. Yeah. And I'm like, I don't mind it. It's funny. And sometimes the violence really does hit. I'm like, oh my god, that's violent.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
In a way that's not overly grotesque, but it
or
still
gratuitous,
hits.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's like pretty impressive in how they did that. I like the first fight a lot with Daredevil and the people in the bar. I like him and Jon Favreau together.
Yeah.
You know, Jon Favreau's playing Jon Favreau. That's doing his Jon Favreau thing.
So money.
I liked him. Like, there's not much difference between here and Happy.
Not at all.
He's just Jon Favreau.
And the furthest is good Daredevil didn't get to that point because he would just be the Happy Hogan of this franchise after a while.
Yeah, I like that. And I do agree on the Colin Farrell parts were, depending on the scene, at times very amusing what he was doing. Like,
In an isolated sense, I enjoyed him a lot.
In the church fight, like just how, because if he misses, he just like panics. He just like freaks out. Like, my world is shattering. My whole identity is based off of never missing. He just like freaks out.
Like, dude,
and he pants like a dog. Like literally, I feel like if I watch an interview with him, he'd be like, I base my performance off of Bulldog.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good call. Like, because he really does have that sort of like one-track mind, this like weird, spunky energy. Like, let me at him.
Yeah,
yeah, he definitely feels like a cartoon dog.
Yeah, it's fascinating, and I do think they had like more heart and a better flow. But I think there are things about the Kingpin performance that I don't know. No disrespect to Michael Clark Duncan, who I think is a wonderful actor.
Rest in peace.
And I feel like he did what the script would want him to do. I just had a hard time getting on board with it for some reason. Like, it never struck me as menacing, just goofy.
I was never afraid. I feel like we really should have had at least one moment to break. He kind of reminded me of a very subdued version of Tommy Lee Jones's Two-Face, and I feel like if we had had a moment to really see all of that garish personality fade away, because even when he's fighting Daredevil at the end, like there's laughing and there's sort of his energy carries through that. And if we could see one instance of not one of his goons taking care of something, but of him doing something totally terrible and deplorable, I feel like that would have helped a lot.
Taking something intensely serious and being threatening as opposed to just always, it's like that annoying go-to bad guy thing for me of like, let's just really,
he's just loving this
smile and laugh.
He's always loving this.
Yeah, where I'm like, I might have been more interested if you played it offended by him wanting to back out. You know, as opposed to, how's your daughter?
I was hoping you'd say that. Oh my god, so much cigar acting.
And the threats were so over the top.
Yeah.
I like Joe Pantoliano a lot too.
Yeah, he's great.
Is he still alive? I forget. Did he pass away? I totally forget. I feel like I haven't seen him in forever.
Haven't seen him in a while, but I think he's still with us. I hope so.
But I think he's great. I mean he's great in like literally anything he does. He's always great. Two actors from The Sopranos were in here, and yeah, he was great in here, and I really liked the presence that he brought for Ben Urich, and like he feels like I really believe that he would go through with publishing the article.
Yeah, I did too.
Yeah. I also believe that he would delete the article.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's a really good character portrayal, I think.
That played really nice, and that's well within the tone here. It's funny. It's like I feel like this is probably a much more consistent movie than the theatrical cut is. I feel like it's still at odds with the more bouncy, fun aspects and the more dark gothic aspects. And I feel like most issues you could have with this movie sort of boil down to if they just proportioned those things a bit better together. But he is a character who, as a through line, fits very naturally with everything.
And I think Ben Affleck does a really good job in the more despairing moments of his performance when he's feeling really hollow. I think that he does a really good job in those key sequences. I think he's like really good. He never had a moment where I was like, that's bad acting. I never had anything like that. I did have I was always aware it was Ben Affleck.
Yeah, I was always like, Ben Affleck's doing a good job.
I'm always watching Ben Affleck.
Yeah, absolutely. And hey, he must have been the guy who brought Kevin Smith in.
True, yeah. It was a fun cameo.
Yeah. Not a bad actor, that Kevin Smith.
But overall, Yeah, I mean, it's same about Morbius because my reaction to it when it's all said and done is it was fine. It does get a little boring in the middle, honestly, because I just don't care about any of the actual drama. Like the drama is not gripping, and I honestly, while I appreciate the execution of the lawyer stuff, and I think Coolio brings a lot of fun to it, I did find it unnecessary. Like, ultimately, to the point that if it is cut out, like, I like the concept of you actually get to see Matt Murdock do lawyer shit versus in the theatrical cut, I imagine you don't really see him get to do any of that. So I do appreciate that you get to see that. I wasn't that interested in it. And so with a movie that is not as consistent with its tone, it gets really bogged down in a lot of drama that I don't really care about. So it was most entertaining to me when there was, you know, actual shit happening. That was like, look at them fight, yay! You know,
ooh, they're running around on building tops.
Yeah,
cool.
Look at them have an argument that's actually engaging or something like that. But I'm not rooting for Matt Murdock and his firm. I'm not rooting for the firm of Foggy and Nelson. I'm not really rooting for anything, to be totally honest. Like, I don't really want Ben Affleck. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Kingpin killed your dad. Like, I'm not.
It's easy to forget.
I'm not rooting for him to get revenge. You know, I'm not rooting for Elektra to get revenge. I'm not. There's nothing that this movie makes me look forward to, or that I'm fascinated by, or that I'm rooting for. I'm just sort of amused through most of it.
Yeah, it was a fun, pleasant watch, and I feel like the most impact I got was out of more the technical aspects of just being like, wow, this holds up surprisingly well.
Yeah,
it's
there's
just
some
a
cool
technical production. Yeah,
I think that but that wears off. Like, you get used to it, where it wears thin after a while, to the point where, what's the word that I often hear with like Michael Bay movies? When you get used to the explosions and all that, there's a certain phrase.
Plateaus or something.
There's an actual phrase that I hear all the time with a Michael Bay film that if
Bayhem,
just something about that
it's like mind numbing.
It's the point that it's communicating is that, like, after a while you are just completely unaffected by it and it becomes boring.
It's like sensory overload.
That's not quite it.
No, not
sensory
here.
overload is like, I'm overwhelmed, but this is not overwhelmed. It's not overwhelming. It's just that appreciation that elicits an emotional response from me starts to wear off.
Yeah.
And I stopped being like, oh, but that is so cool to look at, and you know, it's actually pretty neat. For me, it was really in the first half hour when I would see certain shots. I'm like, that's pretty. You don't see that in comic book movies. And to this movie's credit, you don't get, like, this is more bold than fucking anything Sony's been doing with their dark Marvel Sony characters of Spider-Man, whatever the hell it's called. Like, this is more bold than any of that. The way they went here, I think, is this. If anything, the next step for the Sony Spider-Man universe of its dark characters should aspire to be more like the Daredevil's director's cut. This is more what they ought to be like, and I don't think this movie was. Then again, I don't remember the theatrical cut. So, but going off of this, I'm like, this is not a terrible film, and I could see why people really like it. But the people I see that really love it, I rarely encounter the individual who's like, I've never seen the theatrical one, I've only seen the director's cut. But I think that if you watch the theatrical and then this one, you're like, this is so much better because you saw that one. You know?
Yeah, you have the point of comparison. Like, for me, this is my first experience beyond the trailers and that promo they always used to run at the theaters about the choreography of the fights of this movie. And Chung Yen-yoon, we call him the master. But yeah, like, this isn't like a movie I love based off of this. I'm like, I'm glad I saw it. I would watch it again sometime if someone really wanted to. But I do agree that this has that dark Sony Spider-Verse quality that I feel
it's much better than them.
It is. It's
I would rank this
it's more
above
of a real movie. It's like, it's more consistent and it's more thought out. It feels like,
and it feels like visually striking a lot of the time, and it seems like purposeful in how they did it.
Yeah, and the camp and the pulp that arises from that often feels like it still kind of fits instead of enjoying it despite itself.
They had a lot of like composition to the way they were framing this movie.
Tons.
They're like, this movie didn't feel like, let's figure this out in editing. Like, it feels like they mapped it out in storyboarded scenes and how they were going to visually graph this film together. Like, it feels intentional and purposeful, whereas a lot of these other ones feel like nowadays they just feel like a mess.
Yeah.
You know? And this does not feel like a mess to me. It just falls a little flat for me.
Yeah, it could be more dynamic and it could be better fleshed in certain aspects.
Yeah, and I'm like, even in the theatrical, I'm like, there's some things you just have to cut. It's like, some things needed to be just written out before filming, is the thing. It wouldn't be like, you could have fixed this, and like, there's not a version where you could fix this final product in editing and by trimming some other stuff out. I would be like, no, you would have to start with the screenplay and change some of that up before filming the damn thing. Because there are things that definitely did not hit as strong as they could have. Like, the emotional beats did not hit that strong. But hey, glad I watched it finally. Hounded for years to watch this film.
Call Andrew Gordon and let him know.
Able to watch it, thanks for being here. Subscribe, click that bell, and hey, let's do a page.
Scuba Steve the Devil.
Scuba the Devil.
Devil of Hell's Kitchen out there.
In Sweden.
Tagging all the Swiss walls with your crime. With your painted crime.
Scuba crime.
But what you're really doing is covering up.
Wait, what are you talking about? Scuba Steve?
Scuba Esteban.
I was thinking of the other guy, Mikhail Linden.
Oh, we could do Mikhail. We could switch.
No, we go with Scuba.
Scuba. Hey, whether it's
Scuba's
Switzerland
and freaking Rhode Island.
or hey, Hell's Kitchen, Switzerland, Rhode Island, Sweden, wherever you happen to be. All right,
the thug
you're the
spray
thug
paints.
who spray paints.
Yeah,
just every single movie. That's all.
He's the one obsessed with horror and is always dating. Yeah, I remember Scuba.
Yeah, he's always tagging stuff that looks like a horror movie or something like that.
I know. Now we can do the shadow.
True horror is crime.
Yeah, Scuba. Thanks, man.
Thanks, dog.
Thanks for being here.
Love you, buddy.
Hope you're doing well, man.
Send us some more obscure horror recommendations.
You're a fantastic individual.
Tag
John
another
did a
train.
terrible job. If he only stopped interrupting me,
I
would have been able to nail that.
Take it away.